Hasan's a very controversial man.
Fuck it, I'm saying it. You gnome!
And lately he's been barraged with consistent criticism, with words like hypocrisy and grift being thrown around. And maybe surprisingly,
not all the criticism comes from people who have wildly different political opinions.
The reason why I've been letting the hate get to me is because there's a lot of people that are on the left or claim to be on the left or are actually on the left saying that like I suck, that I'm fake, I'm a grifter. That's what sucks because like these are supposed to be my fucking allies and I try so hard.
Hasan may not like hearing this, but regardless of whether or not it's correct, there are understandable reasons why this perception exists. And look, cringy aesthetics and optics are a part of it.
I myself am not that far removed from like being working class.
The Kardashians are lying to you.
The other people pick on this kind of stuff, but it's just not that important. The issue with Hasan is not even that he's a socialist who happens to make a lot of money. The issue is it seems like he actively tries to, at the expense and to the detriment of his own ideals.
Fucking Bass is fucking raw!
What is the point of being a socialist? Like, why are people socialists, other than a lack of friends? I'm guessing it's because this is how they believe that you get to a fair society, right? Especially one where workers aren't getting fucked, that their labor isn't being unfairly exploited. Well, imagine my cock when his son, even within a capitalist framework, exploits the fuck out of other people's labor.
So there's been this kind of a flawed system where Twitch streamers can basically just steal content, broadcast it for their own profit, and the original creator of that content realistically has virtually no recourse. Hey, just put something on, slap a webcam in the corner, and you're good to go. You don't even have to be there. This is almost comparable to a factory owner taking surplus value from their workers. Except, this is just worse. I mean, the content does get some exposure, I guess, but how effective that is depends a lot on the type of content. And there are loads of cases where a copyright owner will rightly feel as if they haven't been adequately compensated for what they've provided. Man, remember 5 years ago when the internet agreed that people who did this were scum? Good times. Now, the issue isn't just that he does this lazy bullshit. Loads of streamers do. It's that he refuses to acknowledge that there might be even a slight problem here, one that should fly in the face of his professed values.
So you love streaming pirated content? Bro, the internet was literally built for piracy. What the fuck is wrong with you weirdo narcs, dude? Holy shit. Fucking bootlicker pieces of shit. Holy...
Mate, the boot isn't just whatever you don't like. In this case, you're the boot.
I personally believe copyright is bullshit regardless. Imagine fucking siding with like multi-gazillion dollar corporations.
That's a very easy belief to have when you only stand to profit from it, because the vast majority of his streaming income can never be touched. Also, the idea that all copyright only exists to protect wealthy people is delusional. The thing is, if this even registered as an issue to him, he could take some steps to even things out a bit.
Maybe prepare what he's going to react to so you can at least pay lip service to fair use, which I know might actually require work, but donating to the creator if that's an option. Or at the very least, maybe he could try and make sure that those reactions aren't uploaded to YouTube so it doesn't directly compete with the original video.
Well, the smallest crumb you could offer is shout out the creator and spam links to the chat.
Obviously he does none of that. Hasan simply takes advantage of this flawed system to the fullest extent he can, seemingly thinking that it is the correct thing to do.
I'm literally gonna do exactly what I've been doing, which is whatever the fuck I want to do, bitch.
It seems like not realizing that he's exploiting labor is just part of being Hasan.
This is old drama, but basically a dude edited a bunch of videos for Hasan's YouTube channel and he didn't pay the guy. Now, to be fair, the editor was an idiot for never explicitly hashing out a deal, and I can buy that this was just a communication error. But Hasan just couldn't help but give some stupid excuses as well.
My YouTube channel makes $0 in revenue, okay? Why aren't you distributing your profit? What profit can I distribute? It makes $0.
Which is just not relevant.
He had 4,000 Twitch subs at the time. You can afford it, dude. It's just odd to me that he wouldn't instinctively think to pay someone for their work that he used to grow his brand. And his excuse was that it didn't show immediate profits? I mean, it wasn't wage slavery because there was no wage.
Now, in both these cases, I don't think Hasan is deliberately trying to fuck people, but I'd hope and expect as a socialist that he would think about this stuff a little more. And I wouldn't blame someone for being skeptical of him, because it can seem like he doesn't value other people's work and that he's just a ruthless businessman. Speaking of,
Jeffrey Bezos.
I don't think lefties need to live in squalor. Bernie could own a couple Lambos and I wouldn't care. But imagine if Bernie started appearing in, I don't know, Amazon adverts. That would leave a bad taste, right? Because it kind of goes against his whole shtick.
Mr. Bezos, why are you doing everything in your power to stop your workers in Bessemer, Alabama from joining a union?
Do you think Amazon has gotten too big?
Yeah, I do.
It's not about making money, it's about how he's making that money. The obvious comparison I'm drawing here is Hasan's exclusive deal with the Amazon-owned Twitch.
Big announcement is that I've officially re-signed a contract with Twitch. I don't really care about making a big deal out of it. This contract also has specific. I'm gonna start serving ads.
Okay, memes aside, let me explain why people might have an issue with this. So for those who don't know, some streamers are offered fat partner contracts, which means they have to stream exclusively to Twitch, have to stream a certain number of hours and play a certain number of ads, and in return they get much bigger paychecks.
I'm essentially telling you guys, I have to play 5 minutes of ads, and in return, I tripled my salary. I am picking the giant bags of money.
I think it's weird as fuck that a far leftist, super anti-capitalist, anti-corporatist, yada yada, has signed an exclusive deal with the biggest company in the world in order to make millions of dollars for them and himself.
Like, this borders on satire so much, it's actually eerily similar to the Black Mirror episode 15 Million Merits. You're not fighting the system or the powers that be by occasionally spouting a few slogans. You're part of propping them up now. They've incorporated you completely, and it seems like vice versa too.
Only you can bring about the revolution by taking it to the streets. Keep resisting.
You think you out here fighting a revolution and Bank of America's on your side? Give me a fucking break.
If he came out and just said, look, this does somewhat go against my values, but hey, that's a life-changing amount of money. I get it, everyone has limits on their principles. I think that's still open to criticism, but at least it shows that he understands. Because right now, being so dismissive of the suggestion that this is hypocritical, that he's simply living in a capitalist society, that's utter bollocks.
It's fine if you are working at the Amazon distribution facility because you need it to survive, but like Hasan shouldn't have contracts with Amazon. Like that's the take. It's so fucking stupid that I don't know how to respond to it.
It's because frankly there isn't a good response other than I sold out. I'm sorry, but existing under capitalism is not the same as actively propping up the rulers of it, especially when you have the ample resources to choose differently. I'm not saying he should never use Amazon or that if he were an up-and-coming streamer he should never make a dime on Twitch.
But I think there's a big difference between that level of engagement and being an already well-established content creator, choosing to sign a massive exclusive contract with the megacorp of all megacorps in order to make millions with that company. It would be very easy for him to monetize his content in a way that aligns more with his views. That's all I'm saying.
I wear t-shirts that are made by fucking child slave labor. Ethical consumption is functionally impossible. It's completely impossible.
Maybe true in your day-to-day life, but that doesn't mean you discount every decision, especially the big ones. Phones and t-shirts are accepted standards that everyone kind of has to match. An exclusive contract with Twitch is not.
Hasan has this horrible cringe habit of dismissing anyone who publicly disagrees with him as a clout chaser.
This is 1000% for clout. Suck my cock, you irrelevant bitch. I'm done. That's the most free clout you'll get. 100% doing this for fucking clout. Stop saying he's irrelevant, make you seem like you care about clout so much. The reality is, he does, okay? He tries to act like he doesn't, but like, this is the reason why he wants to fucking make drama for himself.
Okay, I've heard him do this very often. Just believe me, there are loads of examples, okay? And at some point, it can feel that he's pretty clout obsessed. It's online content. Clout is going to be part of people's equation. But if you think that's all there is to everyone, anytime you're name dropped or something negative is said, you're shutting down any possibility of good faith public criticism. And this can make people feel like the ideas he espouses aren't really that important to him. They're just a vehicle to get more viewers. It feels like he has a really good excuse ready never to engage with someone who targets or questions his opinions. Cause, well, that guy's just a clout chaser, bro. Like, he accused this of Too Mad, and he's a massive meme shit poster. I don't think grabbing Hasan's highly politicized audience was something he was super concerned with.
Waiting for Hasan.
Marcus Rashford is a football player and a disgusting mank. Unfortunately, he's also pretty fucking based. Rashford used his time, his money, his platform, and some savvy political messaging to enact real change that directly helped poorer families during the pandemic.
How does that relate to Hasan? Do I think he can do something of that scale? No, but I do think if he put a little bit more of his time, his money, and his mind to it, he can achieve something of a similar ilk that really improves the lives of some people. He's in a fairly unique position. Someone who's far left, wealthy, and has a massive engaged audience.
He can direct his followers in certain ways by promoting local politicians, working with mutual aid groups, canvassing. The fact that Hasan seems to have done virtually none of this kind of thing, despite talking a big talk, rubs people the wrong way because it can feel like he's just hoarding wealth rather than actually trying to further his cause. This criticism might feel a little arbitrary, right? What amount of activism is enough? A person can always do more. Nobody donates to every single homeless person they see, but you know what? Everyone does have a line. It's blurry and it might shift a little depending on the situation, but that line is there somewhere. The same way that he and his community say that billionaires should not exist. Again, they've picked a line somewhere where rich is too rich. And in the same vein, given his resources, whatever threshold would make him a meaningful socialist, for a lot of people it seems Hasan is not meeting it. The question is, if Bezos said a couple of lefty slogans, would you believe him? A fan of his might respond, "Ha, these points are stupid. They're all just short-term band-aids to massive structural issues. Plus he's spreading the word, raising awareness." And then a counter-argument would be, well, it's very convenient for rich people to have a revolution or nothing attitude. Some short-term improvements is better than nothing. And all the awareness in the world eventually needs to translate to something real. Otherwise you're just masturbating. Which is fine if you're willing to admit to that. Okay, is Hasan a grifter? There are a lot of small things I could probably point to.
There was a time when he wanted to recommend a balding product, but he felt uncomfortable doing so because they weren't sponsoring him.
Hims is like, I don't want to do a fucking ad for them because I pay for this product.
Again, it feels super ruthless, like you can't possibly imagine recommending a thing without getting a sponsorship.
But you know what? I'm pretty sure Hasan is not a grifter.
Take Lauren Southern or Tim Pool. A year or two ago, I was sure these guys were grifters. But now I view things a little differently. I think they're just really bad at their jobs. They can't read and they have no idea how to critically collect, evaluate, and disseminate news. They do the cringe basic bitch dance about mainstream media and shit on the left. That's all they know how to do. I really do think they're so inept and so ideologically blinded that they are virtually indistinguishable from a grifter. But a key part of being a grifter is intent.
Of course, the counterpoint to this is that you can't ever know someone's intentions. And yeah, that's true, but you can have some strong markers, and for me, Hasan doesn't quite show them. A grifter to me is someone who's willing to consistently and dishonestly sell products and ideas that they do not really believe in.
It's not sometimes making a bad faith argument or sometimes tailoring your words and your content because you're scared of how people will react. I know people who are exactly like Lauren and Tim, who might look at a provocative headline from an op-ed and will run way too far with it. People who just don't connect the chain of information correctly. People like this are a dime a dozen. These guys just happen to also be famous. Going back to Hasan, my point wasn't to say he's as bad as these two. My point was that if I'm unsure these two are grifters, I definitely don't think Hasan is. I believe that he believes his beliefs are genuine. I just think he's sometimes a little conveniently blind when it comes to his actions and how that squares against his ideology. Because it's very tough to suss out the difference between him and a capitalist who will sometimes spew some lefty slogan. So despite what Hasan says or even thinks, when it comes down to it, I think he's just a slightly more left-wing liberal who shits on other liberals. The same way I think Tim Pool is basically just a conservative and that Lauren is basically just a white nationalist, despite what they say or even believe about themselves. It sometimes feels like his beliefs, rather than them emerging naturally, is something he has adopted artificially that actually fights his instincts. Again, a lot of people are like this. I don't think that makes him a grifter.
Also, recently I figured that instead of hardcore pathologizing and psychoanalyzing people that I disagree with, I think it's often more useful to just take them at face value and just point out why I disagree, or how they're inconsistent, instead of instantly just ringing the grifter alarm.
Also keep in mind, he streams like 8 to 12 hours a day. There's a lot more to him than what I've said in this, and for what it's worth, I probably agree with the stuff he says like 80% of the time. But I think I've given good reasons, in a nutshell, why some people think he's sussy. Too long didn't watch summary. I don't think Hasan's a grifter, but for a lot of people, he is understandably almost indistinguishable from one.
Alright, that's all. Like, and see you next time. Bye.